Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today for the video I am doing my no-buy art supply. I am doing an in-depth topic, and today I wanted to talk about fantasy self. Now, I'm going to be talking about some items that are very specific to me, and some of those may resonate with you, some of them may not, but I can only kind of explain this with examples the best. So, I want to talk about fantasy self and sort of the definition that I have heard that sort of makes the most sense is it's things that we sort of buy to be a better version of ourselves, or something that, you know, subconsciously we think it's really, really great, or that our future self, our better self, is going to want this. Now, one of the examples I'm using is masking fluid. I bought this. I wrote it in Sharpie, and I don't even know if you can see that anymore. It says 10/18. So this is from 2018. I purchased this in October. I only used it once. The week I unboxed it, I tested it on some paper, and I thought, wow, okay, this is another thing I'm going to have to wait to let dry, because again, we have a lot of humidity in our air. And I realized that this just, at the time I thought, I saw somebody using this in an Instagram where they were creating a beautiful portrait that was obviously taking them over 10 to 15 hours, and they were doing very minute details that they were blocking out with this fluid, and it inspired me, and I felt motivated to spend more time on paintings when I looked at their video of them doing a really good painting that obviously took anywhere from 10 to 30 hours to watercolor on. And when I received this and I tried it, and I was like, oh, okay, I stuck it on a shelf. Now, I'm not sure what you know about masking fluid. So I will say this. If you want to know what it smells like, leave a question in the comment box and I will address it. I won't get into specifics, just in case anybody is watching this video and they're eating. I don't want to put you off your food. I want to be polite and respectful, but know that this is very fragrant and very unpleasant. And I don't spend 10 to 30 hours on a painting. I spend 2 to 3. That's it. That's the only time I have, and I like doing one a day. This isn't for me. This product isn't for me, and now it's kind of expired. So it's old. It's hard as a rock. Like, I could easily take somebody's eye out with this. Our dog Sunflower says hi. And so this is something that my fantasy self would be like, oh yeah, we're going to create amazing, great detail art. And then practical me, realistic me was like, no. So I haven't used this in over a year. It costs less than $20. Not having it has no impact on my art. It's time to throw it away. Now I have this marked. It is in my inventory. Masking fluid, but because it's gone bad and hard as a rock, I'm just going to black that out because this no longer is applicable to using and using up. It's gone bad. Ooh, and if you thought it smelled horrible before it expired. Okay. The other thing I want to kind of talk about when it comes to fantasy self is creating in public. Now, there is a wonderful little stationery company called Yoseka Stationery in New York, and they have a blog, and there's a really cute little article that they wrote up, and it's called An Introvert's Guide to Sketching in Public, and I really, really appreciate that. I'm not introverted, but I am self-conscious. So when we go backpacking or hiking or camping, it's fine for me to bring my travel watercolor kit. I'll link that video of what's in that. But I don't typically go to public places and just spread out. There's a multitude of reasons. One, there's like 3 degrees of separation where I live. I'm going to run into somebody I know. When I talk to people, I give them my attention and I stop creating. And I'm very, very self-conscious. And part of me wants to buy more travel kits because they appeal to me on some sort of micro packaging level. Like, I really, really enjoy that, and I would love to have more, but I don't use these a lot, enough to use them up. So these are like travel brushes that are really, really nice, that extend out. This is obviously the Winsor Newton Cotman. This is one of the many versions of Cotman sets that they sell. And it comes with a little brush. This is a fantasy self to purchase more products in this type of category. The little tiny watercolor pocket things, that speaks to my fantasy self. My fantasy self is sitting on a park bench at a public park, painting and creating as people go by, as kids play, as people be getting pushed on the swing. That's my fantasy self. My realistic self goes, oh no, people are going to come over and they're going to want to talk to you about what you're doing. And knowing you, you're going to stop everything you're doing and you're going to talk to them. And if it's kids, you're going to explain art and art theory and color theory and try and get other kids motivated and interested in learning to create art and explain your supplies and how cool they are. Like, that's just not for me. Like, I just go into mom mode or teacher mode super, super fast. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not in artist mode. I'm not creating. So, and I don't, because creating is a process. It takes hours. At any one time, people stop by and see you. They're getting a very tiny 5 to 10 minute snippet of what you're doing. They're not getting the full picture. I'm just very self-conscious of that. So purchasing things that go towards creating in public or like it's urban sketching, things like that, aren't for me. Even though my fantasy self is like, ooh, yes, do it. Ooh, buy all the things. That sounds nice. No. That's a no. I can't buy any of those things. So I want to talk about this in terms of something general to you. Is there an art supply for you that you've been thinking about that's kind of unique, or something you own that you kind of hardly ever use? I highly encourage you create the inventory list, because you'll be surprised what you use and don't use, what you can use up and not use up. You'll be very surprised, especially if you have more art supplies than I do. I don't know where I'm at on the, do I own a lot? Do I own a little? I'm not sure. It's kind of all subjective. But looking at what you own, like, it would make sense for me to be like, okay, I love watercolor. I'm going to buy another tube of watercolor because I use them. I could use another convenience color. Let's go out and buy, I don't know, Prussian blue or something. That's fine. I love blues. Makes sense. Buying this doesn't actually make sense. It's another thing I have to let dry, and then I have to peel it up, and I just can't get past the smell. Another example would be if you are a painter and everything you do is paint, and all of a sudden you decide you want to try alcohol markers, and you brush out and you buy a set of, 100. I would see if there is a way to borrow from a friend. We had a lending library at my old university in the art and design department where you can borrow supplies and you can try things and you can use things, and it helps with projects. I really wish there was sort of a lending library that was public for art supplies, but maybe you can create a little online community where folks swap and lend, and you can try things and you can sit with things for a while and be like, yeah, wow, I'm really glad I didn't invest hundreds of dollars in something that maybe I don't like the smell, I don't like how they blend, and I just keep going back to painting. That's just really where my heart is. I have to realistically look at the time I have to create a day. I only have 2 to 3 hours. That's it. So if I want to create one very beautiful painting, it would take me an entire month, That's 60 hours. It would take me a month for that level of amazingness, and that's not what I want to do right now. I like doing something new every single day. So this isn't for me. And I didn't know that, but I know that now. So now that it's all used up, I won't ever be repurchasing this. This isn't something I will purchase again once my no-buy is over. I hope this video helped. I hope it kind of explained fantasy self and gave you some examples about that. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.